bare necessity, but simple bare necessity. Bare necessity, but simple bare necessity.
Hey there, it's Bree Bear. Good morning and happy Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I have decided that I'm not going to do any work today. I'm just going to read. Let's go ahead and talk about what I'm planning on reading. I have not been able to read as much lately, personal reading, aside from work stuff. So I really want to read a lot today. My plan at the moment, I have set aside a few books that I would like to read. Some of them I'm like, I really need to read, and then others I'm like, oh, I could switch that out. And then I also have my current read, which I was planning on having finished before today, but that's not what happened, so I can pick that up too. So let's go through the books. So first I have 3 of my Jane Eyre retellings that are really short, so I thought it would be fun to throw those in to the 24-hour readathon because I know I could finish them today. So I have 3 of those, and I can break them up with other books. I don't want to read them back to back because then that would be confusing, because they're likely to have the main character of Jane and also have very similar things in their stories, and I want to be able to talk about them separately when I do video about Jane Eyre retellings, so I need to keep them separated in my brain. So for that reason, I want to read at least one book or something in between each one, preferably a whole book in between each one. We'll see how it goes. And that is Jane the Fox and Me by Fanny Britt. This one is like an illustrated book. I really don't know what to expect going into this, but I've heard about this one the most of the ones that I have in my hand. So this one I have expectations for, but I don't know what to expect going into it, because something about it gives me the vibe of it being like a children's or middle grade book, but then also not, and I don't even know what era it's set in. I don't know what to categorize it as, because I get contemporary vibes, but it's not contemporary, I don't think, because it looks like she's actually I don't know. It's weird. I'm confused. From there, I also have a graphic novel, and that is Jane by Aline Brosh McKenna. I could be saying that wrong. It could be pronounced differently. I apologize. And then the artist is Ramon K. Perez. So this one I'm very excited for. I was drawn in by the cover, and just everything about this cover is crying out to me. And then thirdly, we have Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Reyes, and I meant to check pronunciations and I did not. I will have to do that before I get too far into anything. But this one is just prose. It's not anything fancy, but it is super short. It's less than 200 pages. Those are the only 3 Jane Eyre retellings that I plan on picking up. During March and April, I have not read a single contemporary, and I really want to change that. So for that, I would like to reach for one book that I have had on 2 Contemporary-thon TBRs and still not been able to get to, and that is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. And this one I'm very interested in reading today because it is told in prose, so there is a lot more white space than a regular novel or a prose. I just said it's told in prose. This is told in verse instead of prose, so it has more white space than a book that is told in prose. So highest priorities like these and this, those are my priorities. Okay, so since I am wanting to add some more contemporaries and also kind of seeking out something a little bit lighter, I decided to reach for a contemporary that I think is going to be more on the light and fluffy side, and so I might be picking up Tell Me 3 Things by Julie Buxbaum. Otherwise, I have a ton of audiobooks that are just chilling that I've gotten because they're Audible originals and I get them for free with my membership, so I have a ton of them, And so the likelihood that I am going to listen to at least one of those is pretty high, because I would also kind of like to work on some other things. A part of me wants to anyway. I also have a ton of ebooks that I could pull from as well if I want something else, like a cozy mystery or something like that. So I have a lot of options, but those 5 are the main focus. I also could continue on the book that I am currently reading, which is... You're on my chair, so I'm just gonna spin you. Oh, you keep spinning. No. Maze of Nightmares is my current read, and I am not that far into it. I'm like 200 pages in. At this point, actually not even. I'm 160 pages in. So, I could pick this up if I crave more fantasy and want to go back into the story. But I prefer to kind of do like a set of books that I'm reading entirely during the readathon. As far as what I'm going to start with first, probably Jane, because I want to break up the 2 art-related Jane retellings. So I need to do like this, like Jane, White Across the Sea, Jane the Fox and Me. So I think I'm gonna like read Jane first, and then probably try to reach for the Podax, and then White Across the Sea, and then Tell Me a Few Things, and then Jane the Fox and Me. Since this is my first read, I'll also need my handy dandy notebook, because I don't write in my art books, artsy books. I don't write in my graphic novels, mangas, things like that. And just in case you're curious, the readathon starts at 7 for me, and it is 7:38. Among other things, it is rainy outside today. I plan on trying to stay at for the full 24 hours. If I get a migraine or something like that, I'll go to sleep. I don't think I will. I've been pretty migraine free lately. The past like 2 weeks, I don't really feel like I've had any migraines. Like maybe a mild headache, but it's been very like clear of the headaches, which is glorious. Hey guys, so it has been a little bit. It is almost 9, and I have been reading Jane. So far, so good. By the way, it's Elaine Brosh McKenna. And she is a screenwriter, by the way, and she actually did the screenplay for Annie, the new Annie, not the old one, obviously. And I believe she did Devil Wears Prada, a bunch of other stuff. So she's like a really big screenwriter. So that's fun. But anyways, so far, thoughts. I'm very confused about how I feel about it, because as a story itself, I like it, but I do have some dislikes in regards to it being a retelling. Thing that I absolutely adore is the art style. The art style is my favorite thing of it so far. Okay guys, so I just finished Jane, and I was disappointed. The artwork was incredible, but the story was so disappointing in how the retelling went. It was very disappointing because there was especially one element that really disappointed me, and made no sense and did not work at all. So I'm very sad that Eric didn't like it. Why I'm so sad is because the artwork was so good and it was so beautiful and it had so much potential, and like the concepts, some of the concepts and some of the changes that were made were great, but others of them were just not. and there were so many things that were just like completely taken out, and things that were added, and things that were changed completely in a way that I really did not like. At the moment, I'm leaning towards a 2-star. Like, the feeling of disappointment is so strong that like it can't get a 3 even. I'm so distraught over it. It is 10. Not sure if I'm gonna go ahead and start the Poet X, or if I'm gonna take a little bit more of a break first. If I were to complete all of the books that I want to read today, that I showed you guys, all 3 of the Dana retellings, the Poet X, and Tell Me 3 Things, then I will have read 1,184 pages. So I have started the Poet X just a tiny bit. I'm only on page 15, but I realized that I didn't really talk about it, so let's talk about it. So basically this, what I know, it follows a character who's like questioning her faith, or the faith of her parents, or she doesn't believe the same way, or something along those lines. That is going to be very interesting for me to read as a Christian. Almost afraid that it's going to then cause negative views of faith. We are seeing a lot of Spanish words, and they're not translated on page. So that really bugs me, even if it was a language that I'm more familiar with. Like, if it was in French, I would still be annoyed. I mean, like, it's one thing if it's like a fantasy thing and the word is being used in a different context. Like, you know, for example, in Grim Lovelies, they use the word haute, which means high in French, but in this context of Grim Lovelies, it's actually referring to like the hierarchy of the world, the magic system. So in that context, it's okay that it doesn't give an exact definition that haute actually translates to high, but in this context it's using the word, or words rather, in their normal usage within the language, and there's not any kind of indication as to what it means. So if you want to know actually what it says exactly, then you have to look it up. It's been a little bit, and I have been reading. I am 200 pages in to the Poet X. It is 2 p.m. This definitely does villainize religion, particularly Christianity, and even more specifically Catholicism. So it's hard for me to enjoy a book that villainizes something that is my definition, like what I identify as, what I, you know, I define myself as a person who is first and foremost a Christian in a relationship with God. And when everything that you read these days is in YA and adult fiction that's not specifically Christian fiction, is villainizing that, and not just Christianity either. It's really all religions, like any kind of religiously rooted family. It's like, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. Like, everything is bad and negative, and it's all
I don't know, and like, yes, I understand that this is something that some people will have experienced in their lifetime, but the numbers don't add up. Representing one side of something and being unfair in that, I just don't appreciate that kind of discussion. And honestly, I feel like that is definitely something that I've experienced with a lot of books that are similar to this. So anyway, there are some things that I am really enjoying, however, so it's not like I hate the book. It's just very conflicting for me because there is this, main thing about this book that I can't stand, and then there are other things that are really well done. So I'm very conflicted about what I'm going to end up rating it. It's probably going to end up being more like a 3.
Alrighty friends, it is 4:30 and I have finished The Poet X. Yay! Book 2 complete. Let's see. Okay, so we are in hour 10, which means that we are nearing the halfway point in the readathon, which is pretty good considering where I'm at, I feel like. So I'm gonna pop this onto the shelf here. Oh, my thoughts. I didn't tell you guys my thoughts. So, overall, I feel better about it than I did at some point. I still don't know what I'm gonna rate it because it was still kind of open-ended, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I anticipated. But now we are moving back to Jane Eyre retellings, and for that we're going to move to Why Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys. It's Rhys. I checked. I did the thing. I checked. Okay, so far, very interesting. Some things that I didn't really remember. Basically, this is like a precursor to Jane Eyre, and it's centered around Bertha. Although I think that the characters are given different names, other than like, it was written in the 60s, published in 1966, and it takes place before the events of Jane Eyre. Basically, this is, I don't know, I'm very intrigued. I love the idea. Writing is good in some parts. You have to get past some things being written to show dialect, which because Bertha is Creole. Hey guys, quick update. So it is 10:42 and I'm kind of sleepy, so I've been drinking that coffee I made, and as you saw, I'm watching Kiki's live and reading on Why Sargasso Sea. It's kind of been a slower read for me because of the style in which it is written. and I'm also sleepy, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I think I need to be active a little bit, so I think I'm gonna like maybe set up my ink swabbing stuff to do in between reading, or like as breaks or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna do something though. Hey guys, it is 3:30 a.m. and I had a few chippies for a snack and a Dr. Peppy. I'm not gonna drink the whole Dr. Peppy, I don't think, but I just needed something other than the coffee because I'd been sipping that coffee. I have been doing some sprints, and in between when I'm taking a break I'm still watching Zoe's videos. But while I've been watching her videos, I've also been working on my ink swab binder, and I am done making all of my ink swabs. They're not in any particular order, but I have all of my inks, and some of these I have samples of. They're not a full bottle or anything. I'm going to try to finish with Agasso C. This one, as you guys may have guessed, is taking me longer than I was hoping because of the writing style, and I'm okay with it. Like, it's kind of annoying that it's, you know, been that way, but I'm not stressing over it or anything. If I finish this and finish Jane the Fox and Me, I will be a happy camper. So I'm on page 120 of this. So I have 50 pages left. That's not too bad. If I could just read like more at a time with it, it's just like, because of the writing style, it's not a readathon read. And also, I don't know, it's just like, it's a lot to take in, so I'm definitely gonna have to reread this at some point to really get the full effect of it, because it's a lot to take in. The names kind of are confusing me because they're different from in Jane Eyre, but also, like, I don't think that Rochester has actually been specifically named. Like, I don't think anyone has actually said his name at any point in this book, so it's just kind of weird. I don't know, like, I'm enjoying it. I think it's good. I'm probably gonna give it 4 stars. I just think I need to revisit it at some point to really appreciate it more, but I mean, no, that happens. But I'm determined to finish it. I have 15 more pages. I can do it. I can do it. So I'm going to straighten up first, and then I'm going to read another little bit, and then I'll breathe for a sec, and then I'll read another little bit. I'm just going to push through it. I know that that's not what I should have just put it down and come back to it at another time, but, well, we're already this far. So, I mean, I kind of, like, thinking back on the day, I should have put it to the side and picked up Tell Me 3 Things to have something lighter and a little bit more relaxing, because kind of the whole point of the day was for it to be a more chill day, and it kind of lost some of that by reading something that was harder to read and not like a good readathon read.
So, you know, I'm still working on it. I'm still trying my best to be... Did I get ink on my book? I think I got ink on my book from my hands. My hands are covered in ink. Fountain pen life is real. Like, this is like a constant situation. So, I'm still, basically the moral of this is that, like, I'm still working on becoming more relaxed when it comes to TBRs, and, like, I'm trying to get better about recognizing when something is not working for me at the moment, put it down, and pick something else up, and come back to it later. And being okay with doing that. I've just not ever really been very good about that, and I want to get to that point during readathons especially. During a readathon is not the time to push through a book. You should put it down and come back to it at another time. Like, I'm just so bad about that. That's one of my goals for the rest of this year. I'm gonna talk to you guys in a while after I've done some more doing of the reading part. Good morning, everyone. It is the next day after the readathon. It is almost 9 and my dad still isn't ready to go to church, so we were supposed to be there at 8:30. And here we are. Love that for us. But so, how did my reading go? Well, let's recap, shall we? I read Jane by Aline Brosh McKenna. 224 pages. This was okay, but kind of disappointing. I read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, and this is 360 pages, and this was pretty good. 3 or 4 stars maybe. This was like 2 or 3 stars. And then I read all but 36 pages of Why Sargasso Sea by Jean Reese. So where I last left you guys, it was like, I think 3, and I got tired, and then for some dumb reason I was like, oh, maybe I should just sleep then. And so I stopped at 36 pages away from finishing this book. So I could have finished this and then at least read Jane the Fox and Me and then gone to sleep. But no. So the sleepy brain does what the sleepy brain wants, clearly, but I did end up reading a total of 720 pages, so I'm still happy with my total overall, regardless of the fact that I did not complete everything that I wanted to complete. I'm still happy with it because I still had a good day and just took the day for myself. So that's the only thing I can really ask for. As far as White Sargasso Sea, this is the one that I am currently still going to finish, probably either today or tomorrow, depending on how sleepy I am. And I'm really not sure how I'm going to feel about it. I really feel like I'm going to have to reread this at some point. I kind of want to look over like some cliff notes because it's just like really confusing me, and I don't know if it's because I tried to read it so fast or if it's because of, you know, just how it's written, or simply just because of the time period set up with the language choice for the Jamaican style of language. And so like basically like there's a lot of sections that are written in the style of how the Jamaican people would be speaking English, like with their accent and vocabulary, like not vocabulary, their grammar choices fitting like more of their style of what you know, is more natural to a person that is coming over from a Jamaican styled French. So that's gonna be it for this Dewey's 24-hour readathon vlog. And to the hosts that have decided that this is gonna be their last round, thank you guys so much for keeping this going so long and doing what you do and everything. We really all appreciate you and all that you've put into the readathon and to commemorate Dewey and to just keep us all tied together doing something that we all love. And we really appreciate you, and I hope that you guys enjoy some time to just relax and enjoy reading without the pressure of having to keep this thing running. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys, and I will talk to you guys very soon with another video that you do not want to miss. Peace out, Bear Scouts.
About your worries and your stress. I mean it, bare necessities. That's why a bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. Yeah, with just the bare necessities of life.